नमस्ते बिटिया, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। Myself, JVN Dr. Astha Sikarwar, Assistant Professor, Department of Organ of Medicine, Faculty of Homeopathic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Today's topic is from JT Kant Philosophy, the Science and the Art. Kant's philosophy says Hahnemann arrives at 3-point conclusions. There are 3 steps to be surveyed. First, by what means is the physician to arrive at the necessary information relative to a disease in order to be able to undertake the cure? Second, how is he to discover the morphic powers of medicines, that is to say, of the instruments destined to cure natural disease? Third, what is the best mode of applying these morphic powers in the cure of diseases? First point relates to the disease in general and the patient in particular. In going over the third paragraph, we gathered together the means of studying an epidemic and each man in particular. We shall now proceed to study disease in general and the patient in particular from now on to the end of this course. All the rest of the study is of such a character. There are a great many questions that arise in this problem that must be studied in detail. The study of the nature of acute miasm and the study of the nature of chronic miasm. The study of such changes as shown there are 2 distinct classes of sickness. Each one is to be studied in its most general way and each person as a particular entity. Second point constitutes a study of the materia medica and a knowledge of how it is built, which is by proving by recorded facts. Third point involves the study of all methods and settling upon that which is best. To proceed in the study of these in a rational, scientific, and careful manner is the object of the future study of this book. It leads from now on from the science of homeopathy to the art of healing. We see that we have now gone over the principal part of that which is merely science, the science of homeopathy. We have none of the enormous classification in the study of homeopathy that are restored in traditional medicine. They should not appear in the study of applied homeopathy. The study of the classification of disease as is done in traditional medicine is useful because we come in contact with the word. A knowledge of the nature of individual sickness is necessary for a prescription, and this depends upon the ascertainment of the details. The very first of this study is to prove and realize that there are 2 classes of diseases, acute and chronic. The general classification of all diseases is made in this way. The acute are thrown into one group and studied as acute diseases, and so with the chronic. An acute miasm is one that comes upon the economy, passes through its regular prodromal period, longer or shorter as its period of progress and period of decline, and in which here is a tendency to recovery. A chronic miasm is one that has its period of prodrome, period of progress, and no period of decline. It is continuous, never ending, except with the death of the patient. The acute disease need much less study than the chronic. They are all such as are contagious or infectious, such as have a miasmatic character and are capable of running a definite course. When man disorders his stomach and has an attack of vomiting, and from which he has no after trouble, he has suffered merely from an indisposition. Such conditions from external causes are not miasm. Things that go through the mouth into stomach and thereby produce sickness act either as rousers up of some old trouble or as mechanical causes of disturbance. The pure disease, on the other hand, whether acquired or inherited, are those that flow from the innermost of the outermost while making man sick. These causes that make man sick are influx of simple substance and they run a fixed distinct course. Each one has its own time of prodrome, its own period of progress. Hereby the traditional school of medicine has fixed what it calls pathognomic symptoms. It is well to know these symptoms not for the purpose of naming merely, but for the purpose of association. The study of disease should not be for the purpose of naming. If it is so, the name does harm. The more you develop diagnostic symptoms, the more you will becloud the ideas entering the mind that lead toward a prescription. You might go into the room and work an hour individualizing a case, deciding whether it were measles or scarlet. Well, you might say it is measles and must now have pulsatilla, or scarlet and must have belladonna. You will readily see that such a state of affairs is misleading to the mind. If you are in an epidemic where it is necessary in order to save the neighborhood to know, for instance, whether a certain case is of cholera or not, then it becomes necessary to do the two things. The family and the surrounding families are entitled to the safety that a correct knowledge would give and that protection, isolation, or quarantine would afford. There are two kinds of study, one with a bearing toward the classification that the disease belong to and one with reference to the remedy that the patient needs. But I prefer to settle the patient first as to the remedy he needs, and this has very little to do with the classification, except in a general way. After a remedy has been decided upon that clearly covers the symptoms and the patient receives his dose of medicine, the next point is what step is necessary to take in order to protect the pupil if this is a contagious disease. There are some conditions of chronic disease which closely resemble acute diseases. For instance, these mimicking acute attacks that come on regularly as periodical headaches. One attack singled out might have the appearance of an acute miasm. Here the tendency to progress and not to recovery shows that it belongs to the chronic class. These disorders that come from debauchery and drinking and overeating from immediate circumstances that are periodical are things that arise from the latent sora condition. They are momentary sickness, and if it were not for the fact that man suffers from chronic miasms, he would not have these. These attacks would not form a sickness, would have not an appearance of acute sickness. It is due to chronic miasms that man has these little recurring attacks. These do not come with a prodromal period, a progressive period, and a period of decline. They may have an attack and decline, but not a prodrome. The acute miasms, like the chronic, have their prodrome period. Paragraph 72 says, relative to the first point, it will be necessary for us to enter here into some general considerations. The diseases of man resolve themselves into two classes, etc. Remember that the acute diseases always tends to recovery. The chronic diseases have no tendency whatever to recovery, but a continuous progressive tendency. They are far deeper miasms. There are three of these chronic miasms that belong to the human family: psoriasis, syphilis, and psychosis. And these we will take up and study. The worst cases are those wherein the three chronic miasms or some part of the three have been complicated by drugs. When the effect of drugs has been removed, then we may begin to study the pure miasmic themselves, but the miasms are complicated at the present day in most men. For wherever we come in contact with chronic sickness, we come in contact also with chronic drugging and its effects upon the vital force. From the continued taking of old school products, the alkaloids, etc., we have the most dreadful state that have ever occurred in the history of medicine coming on. The aim is to get small doses to get an insidious effect. The milder preparations like sulfonol require months to develop their chronic tendencies and are most vicious, troublesome drugs. These slow and subtle preparations are now being manufactured, and those seeing to produce a mild primary effect have secondary effects or after effects which are very severe. Harriman said in his time the most troublesome chronic diseases were those that had been complicated with drugs. If it were true, then it is 10 times more so now. The little headache compounds, the cataract cures, etc., are milder as to the first effects but more violent as to the last effects. They are prepared to imitate the palatable form of homeopathic remedies. This session powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any query, please mention it in comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you.